Hello Internet, I'm Dan.
And I'm Chaz. This is episode 81 of the Wine is Serious Business Show. Today we're doing Syrah, kind of all over, well not really all over the place, some Washington Syrahs and a California Syrah.
Yeah, the show kind of happened because Chaz and I have been really excited about a couple Syrahs we've had lately, and we're like, we should throw some money down and do them on the show, share them with the audience, because we're really excited about them, and that's one of the things we want to do, right, is share stuff that we discovered that we like. And when we were out at the Wine Bloggers Conference last year, we got some Walla Walla Syrahs, as samples, and we haven't done a Syrah show for a while, so they've been sitting around in the locker waiting for a chance to come out and show. It's the perfect night.
So today's the day.
Today's the day, and we're going to start out with one of those. This is the St. Laurent. We got 2006 Syrah. It's from the Wahluke slope. I don't know much about this at all.
Got the big ass glasses out today.
Yes. Don't know much about it, but we were out at Cellars tasting. Had a good time. A lot of good stuff going on there. And when we were on the way out, they're like, "Here's something for you guys to check out and review." We're like, "Yeah, let's put it on the show." So
these have only been open for about 20-30 minutes on these ones. I opened this one about a couple hours ago, but it was cold, so I was trying to get it warmed up.
Yeah, and we tasted them all, so they're not...
Make sure they're not corked,
or something that's not totally shut down, right?
Yep.
Giving them all a fair shake.
Just, man, jammy and big, jumping out of the glass at you. Might be partly due to the glassware here, but
definitely
large
getting a little bit of like chocolatey oak kind of going on there, and like
milk chocolate or oak. I was even going to say like white chocolate. Like I was going to like a little hint of vanilla in there.
Your palate's all warmed up.
Yeah. Well, drinking coffee, sipping a little wine before this, that usually activates it.
I'm getting a litit bit of a tart, zippy note, kind of like a little gooseberry. Like I'm leaning a little towards green, but I won't say like stems.
No.
I think the gooseberry is more in line with that.
And definitely some nice like blackberries, nice and ripe.
And rich.
And
like
rich,
it's
yeah.
Rich.
Yeah. Smells appetizing.
I like how it touches down. I get some blackberry fruit right on the front of my palate right away. The structure sets in pretty firmly along the sides of my mouth towards the back.
And right after the mid palate too, like very seamless. Fruit kind of dies off in the finish a little quickly, but good amount of acidity and actually there's some good blackberry fruit left over once the tannins sort of resolve a little bit. Maybe that was just the structure sort of doing work, but yeah, the flavor right off the bat is really, really nice. Blackberries and let me taste it again. Yeah,
and I'm getting a real like gentle, earthy note on the mid palate too. It's still like full on, like dark earth, like a little bit of minerality, but it's not powerful or overwhelming. It's working with the structure and the fruit, so it's pretty well integrated right now.
Yeah,
decent complexity.
Drinking nice. And the oak is not as sort of prevalent on the nose as it is here on the palate.
I totally agree, actually. I expect it to be like a huge vanilla wash. It doesn't play out that way at all. Yeah, the acidity is pretty well balanced, too.
Yeah, to the fruit, and man, struggling to come up with words here. Happens from time to time. Dan, go ahead.
Now, I just had a bigger sip there, and that I think highlights a little more of those tart components. I'm missing out a bit of the... kind of the gentle and rich fruit that things start out with. So if you're giving this a try, I'd recommend taking it in smaller sips, savoring it a little bit.
More of a medium-bodied wine too. This isn't like the nose was like really high intensity. This is like a little easier and a little less than I was expecting as far as intensity level on the palate.
Yeah. Exactly, man. And in contrast to the nose, you're expecting this to be a big, jammy, oaky,
heavy.
Yeah, and it doesn't really play out that way.
No.
And I was even going to recommend if you're a little turned off by stuff like that this is a step down. Might be a nice middle ground, for sharing it with people.
It's less concentrated.
That like that style. So pretty well done. The excitement isn't really popping out for me there. I'm enjoying the flavors. I'm enjoying how it's put together. I think this is 88 plus for me, but solid effort, and I look forward to trying more stuff by this producer.
Same here. I don't really have much to add as far as what Dan said. I was going to go 87 plus. This is a very good wine, no doubt. It's just the excitement level, not really there for me. But man, with dinner tonight, it's going to be a fantastic wine to drink, and I look forward to it.
So, on to wine number 2. This is Smasne Cellars 2007 Syrah from Upland Vineyards. Smasne was one of the people that we tasted at Cellars as well. This is another sample we got off that same trip. Yeah, we gotta take it easy. We got. No, all right, we'll put this to good use. But anyway, he's doing some good things. His family's been farming out around Walla Walla for a long time, I guess, and he's gotten into winemaking and is the winemaker for a few different projects. One that we tasted out there was the Almatera, and that's a setup of Syrah designed to highlight the terroir of specific vineyards, and then one that blends them all together. And it was sold as a set of 4. One of the best Syrahs of the entire weekend.
Agreed.
In my opinion. So I'm really excited to see more wines by Smasne in the future. I think there's...
And really cool guys and a really nice tasting room and
Definitely.
and everything. They really set us up nice. It was a fun experience tasting at their facility.
And I've heard good things from other people too, yeah. So check out Cellars if you're going to Walla Walla.
Absolutely.
Love the blackberry fruit
This
on the nose here.
This smells awesome.
And it's full and complex blackberry fruit, right? It's
Right.
like dark and juicy, but then there's like a little bright, like maybe there's a couple flowers on the vine next to it.
Yeah, there's a floral component. That's a good way of putting it. Almost like a hint of greenness, but it's like a delicious greenness, almost like an herbal quality.
I'm gonna go. Yeah, we're gonna go all the way into the imagery of this. This is like right. The blackberries have been fruiting on the vine for about 2 weeks, but it's like standing outside. You're getting like the grass and kind of like the summer air. It's clean, like a little bit of the white flowers, a little bit of a green note from the
Maybe
leaves.
you've got like
and
some
stems.
rosemary plant sitting outside on the ground or something. Like,
Yeah.
This is
Wonderful notes.
really neat. Yeah.
Way better, you know, like I said, we opened these to check them out a little earlier, and it wasn't expressing like this at all. So
Yeah.
this is definitely opened up a lot. It's great. Man,
Almost like a cinnamon stick sort of quality to
a
it.
little dark note underneath.
Easy way to just say is this is a complex nose.
Yeah.
Very inviting. And
With
very fun
many
to-
enjoyable elements, yeah. Balanced, clean.
Long.
Wow. Yeah.
The acidity carries the fruit along for a long time, whereas like in the St. Laurent there was a minor dip where you sort of lost the fruit. This is fully expressed throughout the entire experience. I'm still tasting the wine.
I am too. This is good.
Killer, yeah. This is killer. And again, another sort of like elegant sort of balance here with the structure and the fruit. This isn't jammy. It's not overly concentrated. But it just runs out for a long time, and it makes a lot of good steps on the palate. This is.
I'm gonna disagree a little bit. I am definitely getting like a jammy component. You know, in my opinion, the fruit is a little more concentrated, but the acidity is full, and I love it, and it really keeps things in balance. You know, if you're hating on the big full fruit, like it's in here.
It's intense, yeah.
But I think it plays really well. And
I've had way more intense wines. Let's put it that way.
yeah, and again, the oak is really well used.
Tannins are there, balance to the fruit. Everything runs on for such a long time on the
Man.
finish.
It's like a little bit of like apples or raspberries up front, and then the fruit becomes darker and like more like plums, and the acidity is giving like just a touch of citrus mixed in with the plums. Later, I love it when fruit evolves in any sort of wine.
Your palate's on fire. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
That was a great description for it.
It's but this is there's a
The
lot.
citrus
going on.
acidity. That's really really cool. It comes on strong on the finish.
And it leaves the mouth a little dry, but without the tannins ripping your mouth
Mouth-watering.
up. Yeah.
Like you just want to stuff some food or some more wine in your mouth after you drink it. Like it's, yeah.
This is really nice.
Yeah.
And for those of you in the Portland area, I saw that he's one of the people exhibiting at Taste of Washington coming up. So
Check him out.
Good chance to check it out. I definitely know I plan on it. So
Not hot, not warm. 13.9 alcohol on this, but a very very balanced wine that is complex and long and delicious.
90 plus.
Yeah, 90 plus. 91 points for me. I like it a lot. Yeah, 91 points.
Nice. Yeah. Solid stuff. So yeah, I'm happy to. Boy, yeah, I'm glad we got to try that. So thanks
That
for
was
giving
awesome.
us that sample.
Yeah.
If you
Thank you so much.
Look at that, pouring like a nude.
It happens. Look at how much it coats the glass.
Where's that soundtrack? We gotta
Put some Purple Drink soundtrack up right now. Wow. Got that drink. I got that drink. That purple drink.
So this is the Big Table Farm Syrah. The 2007 from the White Hawk Vineyard in California. So, you know, the outlier as far as location's concerned.
So dark.
Yeah, and you can definitely tell it from the color.
Pouring tar in your glass.
I got a question for Scott Hollowell. I know you watched this. Do you know what the White Hawk Vineyard is without looking it up? I'm curious. You might. Maybe a couple other people too, but I think out of everybody, you got the biggest chance. But these guys are great. I went out to visit them fairly recently. Couple working out of a farmhouse out in wine country. Right now they've got vineyards planted but aren't getting grapes from it, so they're buying fruit from all over the place. These are from some of their contacts in California. They're making their Riesling out of fruit from Brooks, you know, which we're excited to see.
Yeah.
And she's an artist too. She designs all of their labels, and she's also designed the labels for a number of other people in the valley.
I like the simplicity of their labels. Really cool.
Yeah, and I
sort
think
of neat package.
And I think that in the wine market as a whole, there's definitely an opening for people doing great artwork to really get into it and kind of improve the aesthetic appeal of bottles. And you know, they're doing it, which is great. So I really enjoyed this Syrah, and this is one that I was excited, you know, to share with Chaz and to share with you guys. So.
Speaking of purple drink.
Yeah, this is thick.
This is.
This is dark. DBP, probably not up your alley.
Steer away.
Yeah. Wow. And you're getting like the full on like, you know, thick blackberries, a little bit of asphalt underneath.
The thing that jumped out at me immediately was like a cigar box.
Sure.
Cedar and all.
Nice.
Like big time cedar component to it, fresh cedar. And cigars, just wet tobacco.
And I'm getting
another complex nose here. Like
yeah.
we're getting into some serious wine at this point. This is
like apple. I'm getting like a little bit of apples, another little full component, and it's big. Like there's no question. I mean, you can probably even see on the camera, right?
This is a little drink. Yeah, even from the rinse, I could tell this is we're going into drink territory here. Not a bad thing though.
Yeah, so, we both.
Some people like good wine.
Do that from time to time. Nice.
Just joking. Not all the time.
And certainly it delivers on the full, you know, it's like full, powerful fruit, but it's even. It's so well integrated right now. That's one of the things that I really love about this.
That's an intense palate.
Yeah.
All around. I mean, I was sort of lost in my own mind right there, tasting that wine. Like, imagine if a dude like took 10 hits of acid. Like that's what my palate was going through right there. I was lost. Lost in the visuals.
I don't know. So it starts out with a blackberry fruit that you kind of expect. It's definitely intense and strong. The acidity has a slow build to it. I was talking about the integration. I also want to talk about the tannins. They're there. They keep things firm, but they never rise to the forefront. They stay. This has a really smooth feel to it.
Sort of like a lemon peel, like a lemon zest sort of thing going on. Pretty hard in the finish. And like you were saying about the acidity, the slow build, like it crescendos hard after you swallow it.
Mm-hmm.
It's just full on acidity. Tannins are, everything is so well integrated. That's the crazy thing about this wine. But yeah, God, I'm doing horrible today, guys. I'm sorry.
No.
So,
don't worry about it. No.
Basically, this has amazing fruit up front. The acidity is, I don't want to say out of control, but it's just massive, right? Like, and in a very good way. It doesn't turn volatile ever. Like,
and we talk about that with Riesling a lot, right? The feel of the acidity. Yep. It can be strong, it can be weak, but there's different feels to it too. And this is really
good acidity. Yeah. The tannins are sort of there doing their business throughout the entire experience. But man, another one that's just long on the palate. I'm getting like a 20-second to 30-second long finish.
Easily.
Yeah, with a lot of things going on in the palate. My palate is just off today.
You're lying. But the and the blackberries are complex. It's the range of them, right? Like you get the really ripe, delicious ones. You get some that have a little more tartness to them. Maybe just a little bit of green on there, and that kind of plays out in the acidity.
But not the sort of herbal components
like
this one had. Like this is a little bit of like green fruit.
Yep. I totally agree. Right. Like in some of the blackberries, when you're eating them off the vine, right? Some are just more tart.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, like fruit lingers for a long time, complex. It's opened up since we pulled the cork,
considerably,
and I can see it going quite a bit. I can see there being more to come too.
And this would be an interesting one to age, based on the structure and how massive this acidity is and how intense this fruit is. both of these really. I would love to age these, purchase some to age. Cool
and,
wine.
and despite the size, like I just had a bigger sip this time, and it works well because the tannins are so integrated, because it's gentle. The components work well in big sips as well as small sips. I really like how the acidity lingers on the palate.
Yeah.
Man, really
Killer.
enjoying it. Good fruit.
That's a tough one to score. That's not really a tough one to score. I'll go 91 plus on that one.
Yeah, and I'm gonna.
That's really delicious.
I'm gonna
There's
go.
no question.
Yeah, I'm gonna go 91 points on it too, and it's and it is. It's without being overpowering or awkward. For it to be this well integrated and this powerful so young, I'm really impressed to see. I'm really impressed to see it. So on to wine number 4. This is Chaz's pick for the night.
Yeah, so 2008, Reynvaan Family Vineyards, the Unnamed. So Walla Walla fruit. I know that they're...
In the Rocks Vineyard, you said, right?
Yeah, this is another single vineyard bottling. It's in the Rocks Vineyard, but this is... I don't know what the story is with the Unnamed, and if anybody out there knows, and this would be another one for Scott, if you know what the Unnamed is, can you tell us? Because doing some quick Googling, I couldn't figure out what it was. They talk about the In the Rocks being a particular vineyard.
But they have an In the Rocks bottling, right?
Right. Yeah. And then what the contender is, but they don't talk about the Unnamed. So I just haven't seen it. But a lot of buzz about this winery been happening lately. People at our wine storage even like walking out bottles being like, you got to drink this stuff. Got fortunate enough to try it down at Red Slate. Thought it was awesome. And here we are. I bought some bottles and
wanted to share it with you guys. Up and coming, I've heard talk on forums and stuff like that. I think these guys are definitely one to watch. Definitely one to watch in the future. You want more?
Sure.
Yeah.
Why not?
You're not going anywhere.
Yeah, I'm gonna cook some steak after this.
Yeah.
I did that intentionally. I knew we were
Yeah,
filming
it's a good plan. It's a good plan.
Okay.
Definitely more funk on this.
Yeah.
Like I'm trying to think of. But
It's
it's like forest floor or what is it? I'm trying to place it.
It's almost a Pinot, like an Oregon Pinot style funkiness.
It's not.
It's
like
not.
It's definitely different, but it's in that direction.
Yeah. Well, you know how like sometimes people say like Shetting Up to Pop can come off funky like a Pinot Noir. Like this is Syrah that's almost funky like a Pinot Noir.
Yeah. And
not in the same classification flavor wise, but this is that sort of funk. It's
like leaning towards forest floor, but I'm not willing to go all the way there.
But under this, there's like really, really deep, almost overripe blackberry.
For sure.
A damp earth component, and then like a cigar or like wet tobacco again.
And I was gonna go with something a little smoky, but there's a smoky note that I really like. The funk is definitely dominant, but it's like the frame that all of these other things hang on. Yeah. And it's another the Syrahs are just killing it tonight as far as nose goes. Like all of these, I could sit and smell for a long time. Maybe a little bit of nutmeg. Yeah,
there are some cooking spices going on in there. Yeah. This smells awesome.
Apples. Yeah, this is good stuff.
All of these so far have smelled pretty damn fantastic.
This is easily one of the best shows that we've done. These wines are killing it tonight.
Oh god, it smells good.
Good apple fruit mixed in with more like plums. Like I'd say it's reasonable to say that there are some blackberry flavors there, but it's not the dominant flavor like I would say it is for the other three.
And a little more. So I guess this is probably a little less concentrated than the Big Table Farm, but what the Big Table Farm is doing right is that the acidity is full on to help clean that out. Not saying that this is making missteps in not having as much acidity as the Big Table Farm, but this fruit seems more concentrated and more immediately pleasing and like voluptuous. I don't know how to really describe it. It's like it's soft and gentle at the same time, though. Which
I'm getting floral notes on the palate here.
Yeah.
Like some white flowers. I don't know my flowers too well. One of these days we're going to get a florist on the show. I'm serious about that. It'll be a good time. But there's a white floral note that keeps things gentle, even though the flavors are still full and strong.
It's like
this is definitely more concentrated, but we did this last because of some of the earthy components.
Yeah, the earthy components are definitely stronger here. Like the funky sort of, like maybe even like fall leaf piles sort of stuff going on in there. Like it's And this is where I've had this wine before a couple times, and this is a very complex wine as far as the amount of fruit you're getting, the amount of earth you're getting. It sort of leaves you in a place where you don't even really know how to describe some of the flavors you're getting from time to time, because it's sort of changing throughout the entire experience. Also, another one that is incredibly long on the palate. Like, the length here, it doesn't have the acidity and the tannins. Like, this is definitely a lower structured wine than the Big Table Farm, or even the Smasne. But the fruit here lasts a long time. And we're talking like a long time, like 30, 40 seconds.
And the acidity is much more gentle. And yeah, it is at like maybe the 20-second mark that I'm starting to feel the acidity. I was about to say that I'm like, yeah, in contrast, the acidity isn't really there on the finish. It is. It's just way out.
Yeah.
You get like some fruit right away, a little bit of blackberries, a little bit of apples, and it evolves. And I'll say that that floral component is really strong on the mid palate. As the finish sets in, it's gentle, it's smooth. Something that I don't see a lot in Syrahs like this. And what was this, like $50?
40.
$40, yeah. So
it's around Portland right now for between $35 and $40.
Yeah, which it's a lot of complexity at that price point.
That's a lot of wine at $40.
And then
both of these are a lot of wine. All three of these are. I don't know how much was this Smasne. Do you remember?
It was a sample. I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah. So,
but both of these are a lot of wine.
Yeah,
money.
Solid. And just the evolution that it lingers long on the palate is super enjoyable. So
and for someone, this is something I should say is that I have presented this wine to people who are not typical wine drinkers, and due to the acidity, the way that the acidity and the tannins play out on this wine, people who don't normally like the bitterness of red wines like this wine.
I can totally see that. Again, all of these, the tannins are reasonable. Yeah. I think people are willing to tolerate shitty tannins in red wine. And I don't cuss a whole lot on the show, but really, people's tolerance for cheap...
I'm rubbing off on Dan.
Yeah, for like cheap red blends, cheap Cabs, Merlots, whatever, with outright green, bitter, offensive tannins are okay. As long as the fruit's big, maybe there's a little RS, and there's plenty of alcohol, and that's not an excuse. You shouldn't have to tolerate bad tannins at any point. And these are perfect examples of big, full, rich wines where the tannins are delicious and enjoyable.
Yeah, totally.
Rant.
Good rant. That was fantastic rant. So what are you gonna score this wine?
91 points. So I'm not gonna bump it way up above the other ones because I like the fullness and complexity here, and yeah, they deliver different things. They're definitely distinctly different if you tasted them blind side by side. I contend even people who don't have much experience with wine would be able to tell the difference side by side, but they both nail it. There is the excitement factor. I'm happy to be drinking it. Good stuff.
For me, this is like when I think about like big Syrah, like this is what I like to drink, and this one is showing better than every previous bottle I've opened of it.
Whoa.
92 points for me.
Nice.
Yeah, it's awesome.
So
I don't know how that would age though. Like I'm always wondering, like based on the sort of acidity that it has, like it's drinking awesome now. If you have bottles of the Unnamed 2007 or 2008. Try them out, because don't even be scared, because this shit is...
You're definitely not wasting it to drink it now. That's
no,
for, that's for
not
sure.
at all. That's the third bottle of the 3 bottles I purchased, so...
Wine is for drinking, right?
Absolutely. So, question of the day?
Question of the day.
Yeah?
Damn it.
Yeah, we always fail on this.
I know, when we put our guests on the spot.
What's the best tasting you've ever been to? Like with your friends... Wow. Like there's time, like we're about to have a tasting on Friday with some people we know from an internet site, and
something awful.
Something awful.
Goons with Spoons. There's a wine forum. If you're into that sort of thing, go check it out. It really is a good approachable source of information. Are they going to hate us for making this public?
No, I don't think so.
Yeah.
But the something without getting into it too far, it's a well moderated site that there's no fluff. They keep the trolls out, and it's good commentary on any subject.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and it's definitely low key, like on the lower range of experience. You don't. There are some professionals in there, but it's not like Wine Berserkers where you get people who've been in the field for 40 years, throwing down wisdoms or nobody's starting fights. A lot of internet jokes and things like that. But nice forum.
All right. So away from that, back to the question. We want to know what the best tasting you've been to is. You know what's your favorite tasting you've ever been to? Can you remember one? And people can stop right now
Yeah,
if you want to stop, but we'll,
let's ramble about the best tasting we've been to. So I'm gonna say because it blew my mind in a couple ways. It was the first industry tasting I ever went to. I got invited to a Galaxy taste. This is when I was still working nights, so I could go to tastings during the day, during the weekday events for industry stuff, and I got to go to a Galaxy tasting. Over 100 wines, right? Like grower champagnes. And had my first first Latour, right? Like so still.
I still as much as I love Bordeaux, I've never tasted a first growth.
And it's still that's still the only first growth that I've had, but that isn't even the one that blew my mind, right? So I had one from Pauillac, which is a second growth that
Which one?
That's Pichon Lalande.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, and that blew me away, and part of it was certainly where my palate was at the time, the stuff leading up to it, but it was a life-changing experience, and so Riesling early on, you have that this is what I knew wine could be. This was one of the reds where I get Cabernet. Now, you hear me hating on Bordeaux. I haven't come close to that experience since. I've been chasing it down. I've had what I think was that exact same bottle.
Wow.
Still didn't deliver.
Wow.
We're working on it.
We'll have that soon. Hopefully. For me, it's David Paris's Bordeaux tasting. Because, for me, Bordeaux's been kind of always one that's I think the mystery is almost part of how much I love it. It's does that make any sense?
Totally.
The mystery and how grand the whole world thinks it is. There's the popularity thing going on a little bit there too. I have had some good experiences with older Bordeaux and even younger Bordeaux in previous tastings, but that was one that 100% solidified my love of Bordeaux and also made me not scared to age wines far longer than people on the internet or people in magazines tell you to. We had a 66 De Cru and a 66 Haut-Bailly that were just mind-blowing. I mean, popping your nugget.
Yep. And that's the good tastings do, right? They and good wines, they reestablish the way you view everything.
Yeah, it was amazing.
And
so
all the wines we're most fond of, you have that.
So I'm sure. I mean, in my early years of drinking wines, and there might have been some life-changing experiences going on there. But as far as the one that if I had to quickly scan my mind and come up with, that was it. It was. It's horrible because it just pushed me further into spending money on Bordeaux, which is not something I need to be doing, but because it's so fucking expensive. Why do I do that?
And it's hard to split it down to one. I'm just going to since we're rambling, I'm going to say that Ewald Mosler has done crazy, incredible tastings on Riesling that have done more to educate me about that style of wine and to solidify my love for that.
If you live in Portland, whenever Ewald comes to town, you should go to one of his tastings or go to any of his.
If you're interested in Riesling at all, you're making a huge mistake to not go to them because he brings the heat every time. Good stuff.
Good point. All right, so a little bit of a ramble. We'll put a comment at the
I'll cut screen with text if you want to hear us rambling.
That's perfect. That's perfect. Okay. All right, guys. Well, we'll see you at episode 82, and thanks for watching.
Gonna be some good stuff coming up soon.
Yeah, a lot of interviews and a lot of cool people. Yeah. All right.